Okay, let's take a look at the beginning of chapter 6. We did a little bit of an activity after the test, and we are going to kind of go over the notes, at least to practice on the back. So situation that's listed here is we have a probability model. Remember, probability model gives us all of our outcomes and their corresponding probabilities. So this thing says the randomly selected high school students asked them how many of the Home Alone movies they'd seen, and this is the proportion, so 15%, 42%, 32%. What we need to do is we need to figure out the missing number. The thing to remember is all these numbers have to be between 0 and 1. All these probabilities have to be between 0 and 1, not the outcomes, the probabilities, and they all have to sum up to 1. So if I wanted to find out the probability that x equaled 3, what I'm going to do is take that 1 total and I'm going to subtract the sum of all the pieces, 0.15, 0.42, 0.32, plus 0.02, plus 0.01. I'm going to pick up my calculator. I'm going to pick up my calculator. I'm going to find out that that is 0.08. So that right there is 0.08. So now the next one is probability x greater than or equal to 3. And this is basically saying what is the probability a randomly selected high school student has seen 3 or more Home Alone movies. That's because of the equal to. And that is going to be equal to the sum of 3 plus 4 plus 5. So it's going to be 0.08 plus 0.02 plus 0.01. So that's going to give me an 11% probability that they've seen 3 or more. Make a histogram. So again, histogram is going to be the bars touching one another. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that the possibilities are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what I'm going to do is make a probability proportions over here. If we look at it, the biggest one is 40%. So that's kind of like my highest point. So I'm going to say in this case, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. That's exactly even. So let's break this down a little bit. 4. So the probability that they've watched 0 is 15. So we're going to go ahead and put a bar here. The probability that they've watched 1 is 42. So we're going to take it all the way up to the top. And then down. Over a little too far. Okay. The probability that they've watched 2 is 32%. So 32% is going to be right about here. Bring it on down. The probability that they watch 3 is 8%. 8% is going to be like right about there. And the last two are going to be really low. So this is going to be like 2%. And that's going to be like 1%. And if we want to look at the shape here is starting to get a little bit of a skew to the right. It's starting to get a little bit of a skew to the right. And if we look at where our center is where we got 50%. So in this case, our median is going to be 1 home. Okay, now how to do the expected value. I want to show you how to do that in the calculator. So what you're going to do is you're going to handy dandy calculator. You're going to turn it on. You're going to do second plus 712, second plus 712 to clear it. And now what you're going to do is you're going to hit the stat button. You're going to hit 1 for edit. So I'm just going to go ahead and edit. And what I'm going to do is put all of my outcomes in L1. So the outcomes are 0 through 5. So we're going to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do the corresponding probabilities. So what we're looking at is 15%, 42%, 32%, 8%, 2%, and 1%. Okay, now this is the thing, it's a little different. The way we're going to handle that is if the light helps. We're going to arrow up to the L3 column. And what we want to do is we want to multiply L1 times L2. So we're going to do second, and then we're going to do 1 to get L1 times second 2 to get L2. We hit enter. these are going to be all of the components of my expected value, and I need to add them all up. So the way I do that is second mode to quit. I need to get the catalog. If you look here, catalog is right above 0. So you're going to do second 0, get catalog. What I want to do is I want to go ahead and hit number 4 for the letter T. And I want to arrow up once, twice their sum. And I'm going to sum up L3. So I do second 3. That gives me L3. And that's going to tell me 1.43 is the average of those or the mean of those. So what I want to do is I want to do this. The expected value of X is going to be, give me the first and the last. So 0 times 0.15 plus ... plus 5 times 0.01 equals 1.43 movies. There's my context. And when it says interpret it, interpret says, what does it mean in context? And we're going to say over a large number of trials. So if we randomly selected a high school student many times, the average number of Home Alone movies, the average number of Home Alone movies watched is about 1.43. So notice you can't watch well, I guess technically you can watch 1.43 movies, but usually what ends up happening is this expected value down here, this guy, is typically not going to be one of your outcomes. So don't be surprised if that happens because it is a long run average. Hopefully that helps. We'll keep going. We'll do day 2 on Friday, and then you'll see what I have next week. So hopefully that helps. Have a nice day.